All right, hello fans, and happy Friday night from the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network as we bring you this live broadcast of History Maker Baseball. My name is Dave Little, and I'm coming to you live from the Dave Cave with action from the best team I've ever seen tournament, which is coming down to the conclusion. This is game one of the semifinal matchup, with the 2010 Cincinnati Reds visiting the 2003 Chicago White Sox. The 2005 San Diego Padres are already qualified for the finals and waiting for the winner of this series to determine the championship of the tournament. Both of these teams are coming off of grueling three-game series in their quarterfinal matchups. The Reds picked up a 2-1 series victory over the 2005 Angels, thanks to a fine pitching performance in Game 3 of that series by Johnny Cueto, allowing the Reds to pick up the 6-0 win to move into the semifinals. The White Sox had to duel with the 1997 Rangers, picking up an 8-3 win in Game 3 behind Aaron Rowand, and they have made their way also to the semifinals. Tonight's lineups will pit the number 4 starter on both teams after the grueling quarterfinal series. The Reds will send Aaron Harang, 6-7 with a 5.32 ERA, against the White Sox John Garland, who is 12-13 on the season with a 4.81 ERA. For the Reds, the hot batter will be Lance Nix, 4 for 5 with an RBI and a run scored in the decisive Game 3. But Scott Rowland took an offer in that game, and he is your cold guy tonight. For the White Sox, the hot hitter is Aaron Rowand, who hit 3 for 5 with a home run and 4 RBIs in the deciding game of the Rangers series. Carlos Lee went 0 for 5 in that game, and he is your cold batter for Chicago. Both teams come into the game semi-harmonious. The White Sox did get bad news from the game day charts, as starting shortstop Jose Valentin is out of the lineup for tonight, and the weather tonight is neutral. And welcome to the chat room to Brandon Baker and the other folks who have joined us for tonight's ballgame, as we take care of the particulars. Also, the White Sox will not have the services of reliever Damaso Marte tonight, as he pitched 2 innings in the deciding game of the Rangers series and will be unavailable for action tonight. The Reds have pretty good bullpen availability from top to bottom. Bill Bray can go 1 inning. Everybody else can go multiple innings for the Reds. We're coming to you tonight from U.S. Cellular Field in Chicago, Illinois. It is a small ballpark on both right-handed and left-handed dimensions, and the field is grass. Your umpires tonight behind home plate will be Clinton Parks. I.D. Jester is your first base umpire tonight. At second base, Bobby Catalano. And at third base, Mr. Excitement himself, Rob ! And with that, we will take you to the starting lineups. For the visiting Reds, Brandon Phillips leads off and plays second base. First baseman Joey Votto bats second. Scott Rowland is batting third and playing third base. Jay Bruce is the right fielder batting fourth. Ramon Hernandez will bat fifth and be behind the plate tonight. Lance Nix is your DH for the Reds tonight. He is batting sixth, and he is your hot batter. Johnny Gomes in left field bats seventh. In the eighth position is the shortstop Orlando Cabrera. Batting ninth and playing center field is the Gold Glover Drew Stubbs, and I say hello to Beatles eternally. For the White Sox, Aaron Rowand will lead off. He is your Gold Glove center fielder. Carlos Lee bats second and plays left field. Maglio Ordonez in right field batting third. Frank Thomas is the DH and cleanup batter for the White Sox. Joe Creedy is the number 5 hitter and the third baseman. Tony Graffinino, batting 6th. He moves over to shortstop tonight to fill in the gap of the injured Jose Valentin. Paul Konerko bats 7th and plays first base. Getting the start tonight at second base is D'Angelo Jimenez, batting 8th. Batting 9th and catching is Miguel Olivo. Once again, your starting pitchers tonight, expect to see lots of offense. Aaron Harang is starting for the Reds. He's a semi-struggler. John Garland is starting for Chicago, and he is a semi-workman. And with that, we are ready for the opening pitch of tonight's ballgame as Brandon Phillips leads off for the Reds against John Garland. Here is Phillips stepping to the plate. The roll is a 3-5-6. Are the batter and the pitcher the same? Yes, they are. That's a strikeout. So Garland gets Brandon Phillips on strikes to start the game, and that will bring to the plate Joey Votto. Votto, the left-handed batting native Canadian first baseman, MVP in the 2010 season. And right away we go to the 1-3-5 chart. So we head to the mini charts, and on a black one, this will be ballpark qualities. As you recall, cellular field is small in both dimensions. On a roll of 5-6, is this a big ballpark? No. In a big ballpark, the outfielder makes a grab along the fence. Otherwise, a slugger or a home run king wallops a home run. Joey Votto is a full slugger, so he gets all of that one and gets it over the right field wall and out of the ballpark for a home run. First run of the game for Cincinnati as the MVP goes deep. And with one out and a run in, it will be the cold batter now for Cincinnati, Scott Rowland. Rowland digs in against Garland. Rowland takes a look at a 1-5-5. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter a home run king? Let's see, Rowland is a slugger but not a home run king, and the result of that roll is a fly out to center. Aaron Rowan, the Gold Glover, makes the play on that ball for the second out. And we go now to the cleanup hitter, Jay Bruce. Reds wasting no time, says Beatles eternally. The pitch to Bruce is a 2-6-6. Is he the leadoff batter? No. And the result is a fly out to right field. So the Reds get a run in the top of the first, and they lead it 1-0 as the White Sox come to bat for the first time tonight. And it will be hot-hitting Aaron Rowan to lead things off against the semi-struggler Aaron Harang. Rowan, a hero and a semi-home run king, takes a look at a 1-4-5. Is the pitcher a struggler? Oh gosh, he's a semi-struggler, but the decider die says no. And that decider die could make it a long night for Mr. Harang here at Cellular Field. But the end result of this play is a ground out to third base as Rowland makes the pick and makes the play. And your one-out batter is the cold-hitting Carlos Lee. Pitch from Harang is a 2-5-5. Is the pitcher a star? Certainly not. Is the batter a home run king? He is a semi-home run king. And this time the decider die says yes. And that is a deep drive to left field, and that ball is out of here. So the number 2 hitters for each team deliver home runs in the first inning, and it is now a 1-1 ball game as Maglio Ordonez comes to the plate. Here's Ordonez leveling the bat against Aaron Harang. Harang delivers a 5-5-6. Is he an ace? No. Is the batter a sad sack? No. And this is going to be a double to right field. Ordonez takes one the other way and down the line, and he gallops into second base, putting another runner in scoring position for the White Sox with still just one out in the inning, and the very dangerous Frank Thomas coming to the plate. The pitch to Thomas is a 2-4-6. Is Harang a control pitcher? He is a semi-control pitcher, and the decider die says no. Is Thomas eager or a sad sack? He is neither of those. And the end result of this is going to be a base on balls. So that puts 2 men on base now for third baseman Joe Creedy. Harang needs some outs here. 3, 4, 5 is the roll. Do we have an iron catcher? No. Does the batter have a good eye? No, he does not. And that will be a strikeout. Creedy takes a look at strike 3, and that's a big out for Aaron Harang. And with 2 men out and 2 men on, we go to the baseball right now chart with Tony Graffinino coming to the plate. Harang is now a semi-hot pitcher. Graffinino is neutral. And the roll is a 1-5. Do we have a cold batter? No. The cold batter would watch the third strike go by. Otherwise, the batter pounces on the pitch for a single through shortstop. So Graffinino strokes a single. And on a lead die of 1, the runners advance 1 base on the hit. An active runner could score, but Ordonez is a normal runner. So he will stop at third base, and the bases are loaded now with 2 outs. As the runners move up, and coming to the plate is Paul Konerko. Konerko, a semi-utility and also a semi-home run king. He can break this game open with 1 swing of the bat in this situation. Tense moments in the Reds' dugout as Harang winds and delivers a 3-4-6. Nothing in the pitcher's column, that's a good thing. Is the batter eager? No. That's another walk. So Konerko draws the walk to drive in the second run of the inning. And bring to the plate D'Angelo Jimenez as we go to the team chemistry chart. Both teams semi-harmonious here in tonight's ball game. And the roll here is a 1-4. Do we have batting team dissonance? No. And the result of that is going to be a single. Another single on a lead die of 1. The runner at second base is Graffinino. He is a normal runner, so he will again pull up at second base, but it is now a 3-1 ball game. And the White Sox will bat around as Miguel Olivo comes to the plate. And if he gets a hit, that is going to end the night for Aaron Harang. The pitch to Olivo is a 3-5-6. Are batter and pitcher the same? Yes, they are, and that is a strikeout to end the inning. So Harang gets out of it, but not before the White Sox pick up 3 big runs on 4 hits to take a 3-1 lead heading into inning number 2. And Tribe Fan is in the ballpark. Good evening, Tribe Fan, and welcome to Cellular Field here on the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network for semifinal action in the best team I've ever seen tournament. 2010 Reds now trail 3-1 as Ramon Hernandez stands in against John Garland. The pitch to Hernandez is a 3-4-6. Is Hernandez eager? No, and he will draw the walk. Leadoff walk to Ramon Hernandez takes us back to the team chemistry chart as the hot-hitting Lance Nix comes to the plate. The pitch to Nix is a 4-6. Do we have pitching team dissonance? No, we do not. So this will not be a walk. This will be infield drama. You flip over to the infield drama chart. And let's see what misfortune may befall the White Sox here on the infield drama chart. On a roll of 1-2, we're going to take a look at the shortstop. The shortstop is Graffinino. He is not an iron shortstop, so he will not mishandle the ball for an error. Is he a gold fielder? Yes. The decider die says yes. He's semi-gold. The decider die says yes. So he makes the play on the ground out to first base, and Hernandez moves into second. So with 1 out, that brings Johnny Gomes to the plate. Takes us back to our standard play charts. As Gomes steps in now with a runner in scoring position. The pitch from Garland, 2-2-4. Is he pitching at home? Yes, he is. And the result is a pop out to shortstop. So the home field advantage pays off on that play for John Garland. And with 2 outs, the batter will be Orlando Cabrera. Wanting to get another run home for the Reds and cut into this early deficit. 3-5-6 is the roll. Are the batter and pitcher the same? Yes, they are, and that is another strikeout. So Garland pitches out of trouble in the second, and the White Sox maintain a 3-1 lead as we head into the bottom of the second. Top of the order once again for Harang. If he gives up 3 runs this inning, he will be pulled, according to the fatigue rules adapted from Stratomatic. And it's really sad that in a game of this magnitude, we have to be talking about the pitcher getting yanked in the second inning. So we'll see what Harang can do against the hot-hitting Aaron Rowan, who grounded out to open the game for the Cubs. Here's a 3 for the White Sox. Here's a 3-5-6. Once again, that's the same side roll, and that is a strikeout. That brings Carlos Lee to the plate. And Lee looks at a 1-3-5, which takes us to the ballpark mini chart. And the roll is 4-4. Are we playing in the artificial turf? No, this is a grass ballpark. So a ground ball is hit to the shortstop, and he is able to make the tough play and deliver the throw for the ground out. That will go Orlando Cabrera to Joey Votto, 6-3 on the out. Thanks to the slow rolling grounder hit through the grass infield. And with 2 outs now, Maglio Ordonez will come to the plate. Ordonez takes a look at a 1-1-4. Is the pitcher fresh? Yes, he is. And the result is a ground out to shortstop, and that will end the inning. So the White Sox go up and down without a whimper in the second. Orlando Cabrera getting some work done defensively. And as we go to the third inning, the score is Chicago 3, Cincinnati 1. Drew Stubbs, the number 9 hitter, will lead it off for the Reds. Very, very good outfielder, semi-slugger, semi-home run king. He is a full whiffer, and he had notorious problems getting on base for the Reds back in the day. The pitch to Stubbs is a 2-5-5. Is the pitcher a star? No, he is not. Is the batter a home run king? He is a semi-home run king. The decider die says yes, and that is a home run to left field. So Drew Stubbs gets hold of one. He will touch them all, and that makes it a 3-2 ball game. As predicted, we are seeing quite the offensive performance from both teams here tonight against these lower rotation starters, as Brandon Phillips now steps to the plate. Phillips struck out swinging in his first at bat to open the ball game, but now he looks at a 1-2-4. Is the pitcher a control? He is a semi-control, and the decider die says yes, and that will go as a ground out to shortstop. And with 1 out now, Joey Votto back to the plate. Votto homered in the second for the first run of the ball game. He stands in once again against Garland, and the roll is a 2-6-6. Is he the leadoff batter? No. The end result is a fly out to right field. And now 2 men are out for the number 3 hitter and unfortunately the cold batter tonight in Scott Rowland. Rowland stands in, flied out his first at bat. 1-4-6 is the roll. Is the pitcher a flash? No, he is not. Is the batter a champion? No, he is not. And the result is a ground out to second base. So the Reds are retired, but they add another run on another solo home run, and it is now a 3-2 ball game as we head to the bottom of the third inning. And it will be the heart of the White Sox order. Thomas, Creedy, and Graffinino standing in against Aaron Harang. Here's Thomas. 3-6-6 is the roll. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter a pinch hitter? No. And the result is a fly out to center field. Drew Stubbs gets under that one and makes the catch. And that brings Joe Creedy to the plate with the bases empty and one man out here in the bottom of the third. The pitch to Creedy, 1-2-5. Is the pitcher a struggler? He is a semi-struggler, but the decider die says no. Is the batter patient? He is not. Is he a whiffer? The decider die says no, so that will go as a ground out to third base. Another nice defensive play by the very capable defender Scott Rowland out there at the hot corner for the second out of the inning. And now with nobody on and two men out, Tony Graffinino stands in. Graffinino takes a look at a 3-4-6. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter eager? No, he is not. That is going to go as a base on balls. So Graffinino draws the 2-out walk. He can steal on a 1-4 if he gets the lead. So he will take a look at a stolen base opportunity here. But according to the decider die, he does not get his lead. So he will be forced to stay put. And Paul Kner will stand in with 2 outs and Graffinino remaining at first base. Harang winds and delivers a 4-5-6. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter patient? No. And the result is a fly out to center field, and that will end the inning. So once again, the White Sox go up and down without scoring, and now we head to the fourth inning. It is still a 3-2 ball game in favor of Chicago. Jay Bruce stands in on the team chemistry chart for the Reds. Bruce flied out in his last at bat, so he will be a normal hitter. He is neither hot nor cold. In Garland's last at bat, he induced a ground out to Scott Rowland, so both hitter and pitcher are neutral. Going into the team chemistry chart, and both teams are semi-harmonious. The roll here is a 1-2. Do we have batting team dissonance? No, we do not. So instead of a called third strike, Bruce swings on one and he hits a deep fly ball to the fence. We're going to the fence check, and Bruce is a full slugger by virtue of the decider die and a full home run king. And on a roll of one, it's a warning track fly ball. And Bruce almost got all of it. 2-6 was the home run, 1 was the fly out. And in this case, it is the 6-sider that takes the home run away from Jay Bruce, as Ordonez is able to flag that one down at the base of the wall. Disappointment for Cincinnati, as with 1 out now, Ramon Hernandez will come to the plate. Interestingly, Hernandez is also the catcher on the 2005 Padres team that is already in the finals. We may have a Hernandez versus Hernandez catching matchup in the finals if the Reds go through. Here's Hernandez. The pitch is a 2-2-5. Is the pitcher a star? No. Is the batter a slugger or a sad sack? No. And Hernandez delivers a single to center. He's reached base on both his at-bats tonight. And with 1 out and Hernandez at first, that brings to the plate the hot hitter for tonight, Lance Nix. Nix stands in against John Garland. The pitch is a 2-4-6. Do we have a control pitcher? No. Do we have an eager batter? No. That's another walk, as Nix joins Hernandez on the bases. And it is now 2 men on for Johnny Gomes. Gomes against John Garland, tying run in scoring position. 1 man out here in the top of the fourth. and it is a 4-5-6. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter patient? No. And the result is a fly out to center field. And that will be the second out as Aaron Rowan makes the play. And the runners return to their respectable bases. And with 2 outs now, we go back to the team chemistry chart. And the roll on the team chemistry chart is 3-4. Do we have batting team harmony? The Reds are semi-harmonious, and the decider die says yes. The batter waits for his pitch and smacks a single to the outfield. Nice piece of hitting there for Cabrera. And on a lead die of 3, runners advance 2 bases on any hit, single or double, unless there is still a runner on first base. Let's see, Nix is on first. He is a stoic runner, so he will have to hold at second. But Hernandez will score, and the game is now tied. Hernandez will score. Nix holds at second. Cabrera stops at first. And it is a 3-3 ball game here with still 2 men on and 2 men out in the top of the 4th. Drew Stubbs at the plate. Homered his first time at bat. And the pitch is a 3-3-6. Is the pitcher ace or dynamic? No, he is not. Is the batter a sad sack, utility, or patient? He is none of the above. That's a single to center field. And on a lead die of 3, runners advance 2 bases on any hit, single or double. So Nix will score, and Cabrera moves around to third base. Now we need to do a fatigue check on John Garland. He has given up single, and 2 batters ago Johnny Gomes flied out. So Garland is not yet struggling, and he has given up 4 runs now in 4 innings, so he does not qualify to be pulled. That rule is 5 runs in 1 inning, 6 over 2, or 7 over 3 gets you pulled, just like in Stratomatic. So Garland remains on the mound, as it is Brandon Phillips coming to the plate for the Reds. Runners at the corners, 2 men out. Garland delivers to Phillips. It is a 1-4-6. Is the pitcher a flash? No. Is the batter a champion? No. He is a semi-hero. And the result of that roll is a ground out to second base. And that will end the inning as D'Angelo Jimenez makes the play. But the Reds strike back with 2 runs. And through 3 1/2 innings, it is now a 4-3 ball game in favor of the Reds. As Aaron Harang returns to the mound for the bottom of the 4th. We'll try and get both these pitchers through 5 innings, which is kind of the minimum start that I will allow a pitcher to be pulled unless he meets the criteria of the run rule or becomes a struggler. And then certainly in a game like this, if either of these guys becomes a struggler, we will pull them. So here's Jimenez leading off for the White Sox against Aaron Harang. And the pitch is a 3-3-6. Is the pitcher an ace or dynamic? No. Is the batter a sad sack, utility, or patient? He is semi-patient, and the decider die says yes. And that means Jimenez will take a called third strike. So in that case, the decider die was bad news for the White Sox. And Jimenez returns to the dugout with his chin on his chest and his bat in his hand with the first out of the inning. And Miguel Olivo comes to the plate. Olivo looks at a 4-4-6. Is the pitcher a star? Heck no. Is the batter a sad sack, utility, or patient? In this case, Olivo is a semi-utility. And again, the decider die says yes. And again, that is a called Third strike. So the White Sox need to get their bats off their shoulders against the semi-struggler Aaron Harang, especially now trailing by a run, 4-3, as we have now 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. With the hot-hitting Aaron Rowand at the plate for Chicago. The pitch is a 1-3-6. Is the pitcher an ace? No. Is the batter a whiffer or cold? He is a semi-whiffer, and the decider die says no. So he is not a whiffer. Is he cold? He did strike out his last at bat, which would make him semi-cold. So we'll have to roll the decider die again. And again, no pip, so he is not considered cold. So we move to the fielder column, and that takes us to the infield drama chart. After all that, a lot of process. But this is still a very fun game, and I'm going to move on to other games when this tournament is over with, but I'm going to finally remember my experiences with History Maker Baseball, and maybe we'll break this out again someday. Okay, on the infield drama chart, the roll is 2-2. Is the pitcher gold? Harang is a neutral fielder. So the result of the play is a screaming liner back to the box. Harang gets a glove on it, but kicks it away, and the runner is safe at first on the error. So the ball is in play. It's scored as an error on the pitcher. Rowan winds up at first base, and that will bring the cold-hitting Carlos Lee to the plate with 2 men out. And that will take us to the team, let's see, the red chart, the player experience chart. Harang is a semi-icon. Carlos Lee is neutral as we go to the player experience chart. And let's see what happens. 5-6 is the roll. Do we have an icon pitcher? Harang is a semi-icon, and the decider die says yes. So Harang fools the batter with an off-speed pitch, resulting in a sky-high pop-up to shortstop. And it will be Orlando Cabrera making the play for the 3rd out of the inning. And at the end of 4 complete, it is still Cincinnati 4 and Chicago 3. And with that, we say hello, ID Jester. I don't think any game will compare to the headache game we saw on Monday night with the barn burner between the San Diego Padres and the St. Louis Cardinals, which unfortunately for ID Jester, a big Cardinals fan, sent him home disappointed, as the Cardinals unbelievably came from 4 runs down in the 9th against Trevor Hoffman to take the lead, only to have Dennis Eckersley come in for St. Louis and blow the save as the Padres win it on a walk-off double by Eric Young to advance to the finals of the tournament. And yes, I'm sorry that was disappointing for you, IDJ, but that was a game for the ages, one that I will never forget. Does the pitcher drive a red Toyota? No. Then does the batter have a pet dog? No. It's a weird result. There you go. You sound like Dave Gardner. ID Jester, by the way, is in the stands heckling the announcer. He's also the first base umpire tonight. So if anything goes wrong with the men in blue, we know who to come talk to. Top of the 5th we go. Cincinnati at bat with Joey Votto leading things off. Votto has homered and flied out, 1 for 2 on the night, as Garland winds and delivers. The pitch is a 5-6-6. Is the president a Republican or a Democrat? No. Actually, is the pitcher wild? No. Does the batter have a good eye? He is patient, but he does not have the good eye. And the result of that is going to be a strikeout. So Votto strikes out swinging. And with 1 out, Scott Rowland comes to the plate. And that takes us to our baseball right now chart, which is going to favor Chicago. Garland is semi-hot as a result of the strikeout. Rowland is cold because he is the cold hitter for the night based on his performance in the previous game. 1-2 is the roll. Do we have a hot batter? No. And that leads to a ground out to shortstop. So with 2 outs now, that brings Jay Bruce to the plate. ID Jester says, let's go White Sox. Oh, now come on. I was nice to the Cardinals last week. You can be nice to my Reds tonight. So here comes Jay Bruce. And on a 2-3-6, is the pitcher a double control or dynamic? No. Is it a pitcher batting? No. And the result of the roll is a base on balls to Jay Bruce. So Bruce walks to extend the inning for Ramon Hernandez, the 5-hole batting catcher for the Reds. Pitch from Garland, 3-4-5. Do we have an iron catcher? I believe the catcher is neutral. Olivo, yes, is a neutral fielding catcher. So we move on to the batter column, which is a good eye. He does not have a good eye, and that is a strikeout. So Hernandez strikes out to end the inning. And we go to the bottom of the 5th with the Reds still leading 4-3, and that takes us to our baseball right now charts. Ordonez in his last at-bat grounded out, so he will be a neutral batter. Harang delivered a flyout to Carlos Lee to end the 4th inning, so he will be a neutral pitcher. The roll is a 4-4. Do we have, let's see what happens. The batter steps out of the box, and timeout is called, and then the batter draws a walk. So leadoff walk for Maglio Ordonez brings Frank Thomas to the plate. Thomas 0 for 1 with a walk and a flyout here tonight. And we're going to pull Garland after this inning, so the blue chat says a replacement is needed. Here's Harang. 4-6-6. Is Harang a control pitcher? He is semi-control, but the decider die says no. Is Thomas a slugger or a home run king? He is a full slugger, and that is a strikeout. So Frank Thomas goes down swinging. He was swinging for the fences and came up empty. Ordonez stays at first, and there is 1 out now for Joe Creedy. The pitch to Creedy is 3-3-5. Is the pitcher wild? No. Is the batter a sad sack? No. And a single to right is the result of that play. And on a lead die of 3, runners advance 2 bases on any hit. So that's a single, and that will move Ordonez to the 3rd. Creedy holds up at first, and now we've got runners on the corners with 1 out for Tony Graffinino. And in this situation, I like to play the infield in at the corners to cut off the run, but we'll play the middle infield at double play depth. Here's the pitch to Graffinino. It is a 1-3-6. Is the pitcher an ace? No. Is the batter a whiffer or cold? He is a whiffer, and he's a semi-whiffer. The decider die says yes, and Graffinino strikes out swinging. So 2 big strikeouts for Harang in this 5th inning as he tries to qualify for the victory. If he can retire Paul Konerko here with runners at the corners and now 2 outs in the inning. Konerko facing off against Harang. 1-2-6 is the roll. Is the pitcher fresh? It's the 5th inning, so he's semi-fresh. Oh, and the decider die says no. Is the batter a sad sack? No. And the result of the play is a single past second base. On a lead die of 1, the runners advance 1 base. But Ordonez will score, and that will tie the ball game at 4. Ordonez scores. Creedy holds up at second. Konerko pulls in at first, and it is a 4-4 ball game with D'Angelo Jimenez coming to the plate as we go to the baseball right now chart. Harang is now semi-cold. Jimenez struck out his last at bat, so he's also semi-cold. And the roll is a 1-4. Do we have a cold batter? The decider die says yes. And Jimenez swings at a bad pitch and strikes out. And that ends the 5th inning with the score tied at 4-4. Fittingly, neither of these pitchers is going to qualify for the victory. So Harang will be done. Garland will be replaced now, and we're going to go to the bullpen chart to see who is available for Chicago. Coming to the plate for the Reds is the left-handed batting DH Lance Nix, followed by a trio of righties. So the White Sox are just going to go with a right-hand reliever here. Once again, Damaso Marte not available due to usage issues. Billy Koch is a full struggler. Koch, however you pronounce that. Kelly Wunsch is a star. Gary Glover is a semi-workman. Rick White is even worse. He's a struggler and a workman. So Wunsch is your most valuable setup guy available tonight in front of Tom Gordon. We're certainly not going to bring the closer in the 6th inning. So the decision here is, do we spend Wunsch now? I would say no. We'll save Wunsch for later in the ball game. He may have to face Joey Votto and or Jay Bruce, both of whom are much more imposing hitters than Joey Votto. So it's going to be Gary Glover with to start the 6th here for Chicago. So Garland gets through 5 complete. And that brings into the game right-handed reliever Gary Glover, semi-workman and a semi-flash. And Lance Nix comes to the plate for the Reds, looking to do some damage here in the top of the 6th. The pitch from Glover is a 2-5-6. Is the pitcher a struggler? No. Is the batter a champion or patient? No. That takes us to the infield drama chart. And on the infield drama chart, the roll is a 5-6. Is the first baseman gold? That is Paul Konerko. I don't think he's a gold rated. No, he's a normal rated fielder. And if he were gold, he would make a leaping grab of the poor throw from the infielder for an out at first. Otherwise, the ball sails over the head of Konerko and the batter is safe at first on the error. It doesn't say who threw it, so we'll go to the decider die, and the decider die says Tony Graffinino is the guilty party. So a throwing error on Graffinino will put Lance Nix at first base with nobody out to begin the top of the 6th inning. Oops, need to go back on that one. That is in play and an error on the shortstop. And Nix will go to first base, and Johnny Gomes will come to the plate. And let's see, that was a 2. That was a first baseman gold, which was a 5-6. So that takes us just back to the standard batting charts. Aaron Harang is Lance Nix is on the mound. Gary Glover on the Nix at bat, Glover on the mound. Okay, I got it. Pitch to Johnny Gomes is a 1-5-6. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter a whiffer? Yes, he is, and that will go as a strikeout. Sorry for the distraction. My son is in the background, and he's having some stomach upset, but he should be all right. If he starts coughing up blood, I may have to end the broadcast. Here's Dave Gardner. Orlando Cabrera comes to the plate with 1 out now, and Lance Nix still at first. The pitch from Glover is a 1-2-2. Is the pitcher a workman? He is a semi-workman. The decider die says yes, and that is a single to center field. And a one base advance for Nix. As Cabrera is on, and with one out and two men on base, it is Drew Stubbs the batter. Stubbs 2 for 2 tonight with a homer and a single, looking to do some more damage and break this tie ball game in the top of the 6th. 2-4-6 is the delivery. Is the pitcher a control? No, he is not. Is the batter eager or a sad sack? No, he is not. So the result is a base on balls. And that puts the bases loaded now with one out for Brandon Phillips. The pitch to Phillips. 3-4-4. Is the pitcher a prospect? No. Is the batter patient? No. And the result is a pop out to second base. That is a big out off the bat of Brandon Phillips. As the runners are forced to hold, and with 2 outs now and the bases loaded, it will be Joey Votto coming to the plate. Here comes Votto. The pitch is a 1-2-5. Is the pitcher a struggler? No. Is the batter patient? He is semi-patient, and the decider die says yes. A questionable or strict umpire calls strike 3. Clinton Parks is a questionable umpire, so this is a big call. This may be a called third strike if we get a pip on this roll. Clinton Parks is going to ring up Joey Votto, and there are going to be some unhappy Reds fans. And the roll is the pip, and that is the strikeout. Oh my goodness, Clinton Parks. It's like I never knew you. As Votto strikes out, looking on a bad call, third strike, leaving the bases loaded in the top of the 6th, and ending the Cincinnati threat. And for the Reds, we need a new pitcher. He is going to face righty, I believe. Olivo, Rowan, Lee. Yes, these are all right-handed batters. So what opportunities do we have for the Reds here in the bottom of the 6th coming out of their bullpen? Let's see, Logan Andrusek is a right-handed middle reliever who is a semi-star, semi-flash, semi-control. And let's see, we've got a very balanced bullpen for the Reds. So Logan Andrusek will be the first guy out of the pen for the Reds. He can go up to 3 innings if needed. So Andrusek will face 9-1-2, Olivo, Rowan, and Lee. I believe I forgot to replace Garland that last inning. I'll have to fix that in the box score later. And here's Olivo facing Andrusek. 3-3-3 is the roll. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter a utility or a sad sack? He is a semi-utility, but the decider die says no. And the result of the roll is a triple to the gap. Home Run King hits a home run, but that's not going to happen. And Miguel Olivo hits one into the deep corner of the end of the outfield and legs that one out for a triple. Aaron Rowan is your batter. Infield in. Here in the bottom of the 6th. Andrusek to face Rowan. 2-3-5 is the roll. Is the pitcher wild? No. Is the batter eager? Yes, he is eager. Is the batter a whiffer? He is a semi-whiffer. The decider die says no, and that's a base hit through shortstop. So Rowan drives in the run off on Drusek, and Chicago is back out on top now, 5-4. And that brings to the plate Carlos Lee. One, 4-6 is the pitch to Lee. Is the pitcher a flash? The decider die says no. Is the batter a hero? He is a full hero. And that is going to be a single to right. That is 3 straight men on base surrendered by Andrusek. That makes him a semi-struggler with the heart of the order on Ordonez, Thomas, and Creedy coming to the plate. So that's going to be all for Logan Andrusek. He is right out, as the Reds can't afford to give anything else up in this game. And coming in to replace Andrusek will be Nick Massett. So runners at first and second. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th. As Nick Massett is on to face Maglio Ordonez. The pitch is a 2-5-6. Is the pitcher a struggler? No, he's not. Is the batter a champion or patient? He is semi-patient. And the decider die says yes. And that is a walk. And let's see, I'm getting a text here, so I might need to go provide some first aid to my ailing son. Can you check up on Chad when you are done? He's really struggling with the stomach. So let's see, it is the bottom of the 6th. Probably another half hour before we finish. So fans, with apologies, I am going to call a break in the action here and go deal with my ailing son. And with the score 5-4, we will call this a rain delay or something. And depending on how things go, I may finish this up on the channel, or I may just finish this up offline. So with apologies to all, I will be suspending the broadcast at this point. And we will we'll catch up to you all soon. Thank you, everybody. And off we go on hiatus. The next one.